All right, we're back with David Hilme, the conservation manager at City River Wildlife Reserve.
Yeah.
And obviously we're at his parrot facility. David, tell us a little bit about this most amazing facility.
Sure. Well, the bird that just flew across is a released bird. We've released 25 endangered yellowheads so far. 20 years ago, there were about 70,000 of them. Now we're less than to about 1,000.
So there's only 1,000 left.
That's correct. Primarily habitat loss and the illegal pet trade. So over the last 13 months, we've released 25 of them. Most have dispersed, and it was coincided with breeding season, so they paired up and moved on. We still have 3 that keep on coming back. And as I was telling you earlier, they can live to be 40 years old. And these ones are so habituated, even though they're free, I'm probably going to have to feed them every morning for the next 40 years. I got 42 before I'm 100, so...
Well, you're living so healthy, you may actually get that 40.
I'm going to try, yeah.
That's awesome.
So what you'll see behind us here is the soft release aviary. So all of the birds that we get from Belize Bird Rescue have been in rehab. They're either confiscations or injured birds, or they were nestlings that were pulled out of the nest because there were either more than 2, and we wanted to make sure that the parents could deal with 2 if they can't deal with 3 or 4, or they were poached, and we got the nestlings back. They go to Belize Bird Rescue. If they're nestlings, at least 2 to 3 years in rehab. Some of these birds were illegal pets and have been taught some language as well. So I've had some yellowheads that were in rehab for 7 years.
Amazing.
So they come here, and we're totally secluded here. And other than, of course, this moment, because we're doing the interview, the interaction between me and the birds is very, very quick. I don't interact with them. I don't play with them. I don't talk to them. And the idea is to unhabituate them to humans. So actually, today's probably the last day they're going to get convenient food. Starting tomorrow for the next couple of weeks, I'll be foraging wild forest food and start adding that to their diet, eventually transitioning only to the foods that they could forage for naturally.
Just right out here in the background environment.
And so today, actually, they have mango, banana, and citrus. So they could get all 3 of those, and also chili peppers. Which is
no
really
doubt
cool.
They can get those here in Belize.
Well, the thing
maybe a little
really
Mary
cool,
Sharps on their banana.
They don't actually taste the heat.
Yeah.
They don't mind the heat at all, and they go for those seeds. So we have 9 blue-headed mealy parrots right now. They'll go through this program for about 3 to 4 weeks. I'll assess how calm they are. They keep on flying around wherever I am. As soon as I see them ignoring me, I know I'm almost at that point where one day the doors will magically open. I'll feed them, and then they're free to go. They'll disperse. They'll probably come back in. They may roost in here at night. But I leave all the doors open because the last thing I want is them roosting and have a possum or a raccoon come and take one from the roost. But these are the biggest Amazon species there are. So they can take care of themselves, as you can see when...
Yeah, got one little ambitious, hungry client
there's
this morning.
one in every flock. I'm like, what's up with this parrot? And Nikki on Belize Bird Rescue, oh, that's Buzz. Oh, you couldn't tell me first? So they have pretty sharp beaks. So once I feel comfortable that they're ignoring me and I've been ignoring them, they're free to disperse. What'll probably happen is for the next 2 to 3 months, they'll come back for breakfast. They may end up coming back to roost at night, but eventually they will start dispersing. So with yellowheads right now, just 2 weeks ago, I got a good photograph of a yellowhead 3 miles away, foraging independently. And that one does not come back to roost, so he's out there.
So it's working.
It's beginning to work, yes.
Well, and what a lot of people may know about the City River Wildlife Reserve is that we have an environmental compliance plan that has been handed to us by the Belize Government Department of Environment. In that plan, it actually specifies that we need to do certain actions to try to bring back that population, or at least protect that population of yellow-headed parrots that are existing here on the reserve. The interesting thing about that part of this program is that David Hilme has taken it upon himself as a conservation manager to create a really holistic program that not only gets the birds that have been poached and pet shop birds back into the wild, rehabilitated, unhabituated,
translocated,
and uninhibited.
Yes.
But even going so far as to have a nest box program, where right here on the reserve, we're actually trying to promote the nesting pairs to really replace the ranks of those that have been poached elsewhere in the country.
That's true. Parrots are secondary nesters. In other words, they need cavities for them to be able to nest in. So we need the woodpeckers and we need some storm damage. The problem with depressed numbers is that if we had a healthy population, they'd have cavities to go to. Now we have to create extra cavities to kind of build up the population quicker and greater than it would normally do naturally season after season. So we've deployed 18 nest boxes already. What's great about it is that we weren't quite sure where to put them in terms of ground cover, because again, working with endangered species, we simply don't have enough to get enough data to know what we're doing. But now in our second season, we've been able to eliminate some locations that looked good, even to the bird experts from Belize Bird Conservancy and Scarlet 6 by monitoring, and be able to move them now to what we think are now prime locations. We've also targeted now another 50 locations based on those criteria to be able to put up nest boxes for those. What's really cool, and I guess I can declare it now, Frank, we've had some successful nesting. We did have a pair come in to nest box number, beep, I'm not going to tell you where it is or what number.
Undisclosed location.
And what was really cool is that the male is a yellowhead. The female is not. So in 1998, Hurricane Mitch blew 3 yellow-naped parrots onto one of the keys. 1 was shot, 2 were last seen in 2003. Yellow-naped parrots apparently don't occur in Belize. Yet the female nesting this season was a yellow-naped.
Amazing.
We built a hide, so we got some really good photos. We had a camera over the nest box to see the interaction. It means that we have yellow-naped in Belize, but probably more significant is that yellow-crowned, yellow-headed, and yellow-naped are not really distinct species, but probably a species complex. And so this goes towards building that body of evidence that perhaps taxonomically we need to take another closer look at that.
So this means that not only are we having a nest box program, but some real science is actually occurring right here on site at the reserve.
Well, this is what I've been doing all my time as an educator. A sunflower seed in a plastic cup on a windowsill is not life science. And what I've done for the last 36 years with the Keep is I put kids into different countries working with biologists in the field doing real field biology. And so for us here, the foundation is real science. We don't take the shortcuts. We do what we need to do. We follow best practices. And with the parrot program and now with the crocodiles, essentially we're setting ourselves up now as a center for what we call translocation. In other words, bringing animals into a protected space from a vulnerable position, perhaps in danger of getting hunted or poached, and putting them back into the wild where the species already exists. If it didn't exist, but it used to be there, we call it reintroduction. So translocation, we're putting them into a space where there's already a population. And in terms of genetic diversity, that's a good move too, because now we're actually deepening that genetic pool.
And what really emphasizes the work that David is doing and the work that we're doing here at the reserve is that, let's talk about it. We actually had a nesting pair and they got poached. That poaching only reinforced, 1, the importance of what we're doing, and 2, the real crisis that we're facing in protecting this amazing species.
Yeah, poaching for bushmeat is one thing. I understand if traditionally families would eat armadillo or gibnut, that's the vernacular for paca. That's a little bit different to poaching parrots for profit. It's akin to illegal logging.
Yes.
It's simply a profit thing.
And they end up in pet stores and in local marketplaces.
The biggest problem with poached birds is that half the ones that get poached die before they're even sold. And then half the ones that are in captivity don't get taken care of properly. I mean, I put out a pound of fresh fruit and vegetables for every 4 birds every single day. If you can't provide that to your family, you can't keep a bird. Right? And if you don't have a personal relationship with that captive bird, they're very social, they get depressed. And so some of the rehabilitation that Belize Bird Rescue does, and this is why I want to keep this as a flock, is that they get that social interaction, kind of build up that psychology again. They're very social animals, and we've got to take care of that as well.
And the other thing that David is alluding to is that our partnerships with organizations and ministries like Department of Forestry, and in this case, great organizations that are right here in Belize, those relationships build a lot of goodwill, not just for the reserve, but for the entire community as well.